Hey, what's up, everybody? It's JayViper here. We're going to be checking out this Dragon Quest III drama. Elon Musk has even weighed in on this, and I want to show you what he has to say. Let's get right to it right now, but don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Let's go!
JayViper is awesome. He's so good looking. He's got the crowd in awe.
So we're going to jump on Smash JT's site for this one today. So for those of you who aren't caught up on what's going on, it was found out for the remake that they were actually taking characters in the game, redesigning them, removing the gender options to create gender A and B, and of course overall just design changes that made things less sexy or appealing, or it was just really just making it more androgynous, as we all know, and we've seen this happening again and again. Recent remarks from the game's creator, Fujihori, suggested the Square Enix's decision to remove gender options and alter character designs weren't born from internal desires at Square Enix, rather from pressure imposed by American regulations. These changes have caused a huge backlash among fans who have accused the company of pandering to modern Western ideologies. Now, we're going to go watch this video real quick, and I'll try to speak for it because there's captions, but they're speaking Japanese, so I'll just read the captions as they're going. So this is the former editor, Torishima, former editor in charge of Dragon Ball. And over here we've got Yuji Horii, Dragon Quest creator. So this is the guy, right? He's created it. All right, so let's listen. So she's saying there's a lot of buzz about the costumes. It became a topic of discussion because they weren't exactly the same as they were back then. They're laughing a little bit. Yeah, there were various regulations in place, he's saying. Apparently it's not allowed to show too much skin. Well, I don't really intend to dig too deep into that. Now, he's saying there's regulations. It's simply about the user immersing themselves in the fiction and going on an adventure. What's wrong with it? I really don't understand that either. It's a game, it's fiction, and it's a virtual experience, so as long as it's enjoyable, I think that's all that matters. Agreed. If there's too much exposure, the age rating goes up. And rules vary from country to country. When trying to sell widely, there's the issue of having to comply with the strictest regulations. This is true, there is ESRB, but these characters would not have affected the ESRB. Who's telling this to them? Because we've seen plenty of things and things that are ESRB rated for all. Under the name of compliance. We never thought about that in the past, but under the name of compliance, it's like an absolute god, an evil disguised as good. What an absolute rip. I'd be interested to know who is guiding them on this, because I have a feeling it's someone putting their own ideologies into it to try to guide them through the American market, right? They're saying, oh no, you have to cover the women and you have to change them. And oh, by the way, you have to change the male and female to A and B. So let's say they just covered the women a little bit. Well, then we could say, okay, this is an ESRB thing. They're trying to weave through it. But that's not all that happened with Dragon Quest, is it? No, it's not. That there's no such thing as content that doesn't make everyone uncomfortable. Question mark? Exactly. Someone will always be offended. Because beauty and ugliness, good and evil are different for everyone. True. It's a smart man. There are a few things that absolutely must not be done. As long as you follow those, you're free to do the rest. Especially with all rated things, of course. There's a religious concept from the West, especially in America, that influences their approach to sex education, right? See, these guys have been told some stuff. This is interesting to hear, because no, their approach to compliance is really narrow-minded. When selling manga in America, everything had to be categories by age groups. That's true, because there are ratings here. This is true. For Shonen Jump manga, they couldn't really be sold unless they were rated for ages 13 and up. Because there's a risk of lawsuits, the company also had to get insurance. Doing business with such a ridiculous country is really frustrating. Oh my gosh, yes, the regulations here are insane. Even on American companies, it's really tough to get anything done. That's true. But they are also being fed some really bad information from the sounds of it. Because of that, Japan also gets negatively influenced. In Dragon Quest, you used to be able to choose between a male and a female main character. And here they are. They're talking about regulations. They think this is being driven by some regulation in America where we're saying you cannot have male or female in a game or whatever, right? In media. They think this. Someone told them this, which is why they did it. But now you can't choose between a man and a woman. We have to label them as type 1 and type 2. He is literally laughing in his head. He can't believe this. Who's even complaining about this? The modern audience, buddy, who's not going to buy your game anyway. So this whole situation is just crazy, and they are so right to be confused. I'm confused. Most people are, except for those who really are pushing this agenda. And there's just so few of them. But for some reason, man, that agenda has just been shoehorned into so many things. So let's get into this real quick. Now, Asmon released a video recently where he wants to let people know that he was right. He was on top of this early. He talked about this.
Remember when I talked about this with Dragon Quest?
Now look at this Beckwin guy. Okay, read this. Asmongold's video and Dragon Quest 3 is so funny because he has no clue what he's talking about. And this is very, very obvious 2 minutes into the video.
A lot of the people were mad at me. It was a conspiracy and I was inventing problems.
Yeah, made it up.
Here's the guy that agrees with me. This is an interview at the 2024.
And then he goes over the interview as well, and pretty much that guy just he validates everything we've been saying about this stuff.
The body types 1 and 2. The
It's
idea
crazy.
that we're going to take the distinction of male and female, and
Just
we
insane.
are going to replace it in order to appeal to 1% under the
Less
illusion
than.
of inclusivity by using vocabulary that no one uses and taking away the vocabulary. How does this make any fucking sense?
This is how you control people, is by changing vocabulary and changing word meanings, like changing the word gender in the dictionary and its meaning. You can bend it to your will and say, look at the dictionary. And they'd be like, yeah, but look at the dictionary 10 years ago. Like, it was different. It's the same thing. So it is interesting because this person, Beckwin, they took the L a little bit, right? We knew they were gonna. Big Day Guys apparently made it into Asmongold video about Dragon Quest. I called him a grifter, and unfortunately, he ended up being correct. So, one, that's nice that you admit that you were wrong, but that's not all that you said about Asmongold. So I just want to, and this is not to pick on Beckwin, okay? Because this is just kind of like the mindset these people get into when we are stating the obvious. When we see something that happens and we're like, hey, they're changing the gender roles to A and B. This is a woke mindset. This is a brain virus. This is spreading, and it's in Japan now. Like, so they're doing this, and they're covering the women, and they don't need to do this. And this is like obviously an agenda that's being pressed forward even in Japan. Like, we see it, we say it, and they say, you're crazy, you're toxic, right? So, yeah, Beckwin said that, but then goes on, all right? And this is just how this group always acts, and that's why I'm pointing this out. These people are poison to the gaming industry and will irreversibly only make games worse. Have we seen Outlaws? Did we see Shadows get delayed? Have we looked at the mess that's coming from Dragon Age, the Veilguard? It's not us that's making games bad. Grifters will shout from the mountains how game journos are bad and ruining the industry, making hit pieces, spreading misinformation, etc. Then go on a 20-minute rant about DEI and censorship while using the death of Akira Toriyama as a talking piece. Meanwhile, we actually care, which is why we talk about this, because we would like to see things not go down this road. But let's continue. Not done. Not done. And should pay for Twitter, by the way, so you don't have to break this up into 5 things. It's easier and more profitable, not just in money, but viewership, to outrage bait, spread misinformation, and just fabricate magic scenarios. But if 10 minutes was spent on any research, they'd find nothing to do with the West. Akira Toriyama was alive when the changes were done. Okay, great. But we did find out that, yeah, it has everything to do with the West. And someone, a bad actor from the West, is definitely advising these people that they have to do these things for ESRB. They do not. Viewers need to remember these grifters do not care. They do not play these games. They are here for the solid purpose, maybe, of agenda pushing. I promise you they are not here to make the industry better. And as devs leave or are attacked, games will get worse. Well, I just want to make it clear that it is us who is going to save the game industry and change it back to the way it should be. This is not over, though. This is not over, right? There's a long way to go. As we can see, this is happening. Now, One thing I want to hit on though is that Elon actually commented on this, which is amazing. So he watched this and he says, "This is insane." And you're right, Elon. It is insane. And Elon, thank you very much for buying Twitter so we can actually talk, because I feel like a lot of the other platforms followed suit a little bit, even begrudgingly. We could talk a little more openly pretty much everywhere. So a video like this will actually go on YouTube and we'll actually have eyes hit it. So that's what I've got today, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out. Let me know what you think about all this. Is ESRB to blame, or is there a bad actor in the midst of Dragon Quest 3? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so I can see you on the next one. Love you, mean a peace. Bye, everybody!
He's on